So Chris Sims, is one of these guys that we put him in the hot take category, right? So recently here he was, I guess I don't even know what platform that he was on. I think he does a podcast and he does some things with Mike Florio and things like that. So recently he had a comment when talking about Desmond Ridder, and he said that, quote, I look at Ridder as almost like a poor man's Ryan Tannehill and what he did for Tennessee and Arthur Smith. Now, that's probably the ultimate backhanded compliment that could be paid to a guy. And I understand where he's coming from in all this, right? I mean, because we didn't learn a whole lot about Desmond Ridder. I mean, let's face it. I mean, we learned some things, and we found out that every week that he played, he got better and better and better. But that still doesn't know that, or still shouldn't say that it translates to what the future success is going to be of Desmond Ridder. Maybe he'll be a flop. Maybe he'll be the best quarterback of all time when all is said and done. So I I understand what Chris Sims is trying to say, but it was a very backhanded compliment. And yes, Ryan Tannehill was a nice game manager, right? When he came out of college, he was a converted wide receiver at Texas A&M and was quarterback, drafted high, first round draft pick and all that, and never lived up to the billing, right? Desmond Ridder Desmond Ridder was always a quarterback, and he's a winner. There are a myriad of differences between what Ryan Tannehill was coming out of, who had what 1 year at quarterback at Texas A&M, coming into the league, and they looked at his talent and looked at his athletic upside and all this kind of stuff. There's a difference though. Desmond Ridder's a winner. Desmond Ridder is a guy that was a big time winner at his collegiate program. And I think that's the real difference. That it's not about arm strength or, accuracy or things like that. Yeah, those are all important aspects. But when I look at a Desmond Ridder versus a Ryan Tannehill, I look at a guy that I think's a winner. And look, he was 2-2 down the stretch. So say what you will about what Desmond Ridder could be or what he was or this, that, and the other, but he did get us to 2-2 over the last 4 games. That's not a bad mark for a guy making his first 4 starts in the entirety of the NFL. So while I understand what Chris Sims is trying to say, that's a real backhanded compliment to, and maybe even a little bit of a slap to what Desmond Ridder is. Do I think Desmond Ridder is MVP caliber, all pro Pat Mahomes? No. But do I think that Desmond Ridder could be a really good quarterback? And he's got that one intangible skill, that one skill that separates a lot of quarterbacks with all the athletic ability, arm strength, accuracy, and things like that. The guy's a winner. And that's the thing that I look at. And I keep circling back to this about Desmond Ridder, is that I think he's a winner. I think he's a guy who can lead his team and lead his team to victory and do big things for this club. I don't care where he was drafted. I don't care what his athletic profile says, what kind of metric numbers. I don't care what his bench press was, things like that. Joe Montana wasn't a very gifted physical specimen, right? Yeah, he had good arm strength. Yeah, he had good accuracy. But what was the intangible for Joe Montana? He was a winner. He was a guy who could be clutch in the biggest moments. One of the most clutch quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Yeah, there were guys bigger than him, stronger than him, could run much faster than him, throw the football downfield further, have the more accuracy on his throws, all those kinds of things. But what Joe was he's a winner. And I'm not trying to compare Joe Montana to Desmond Ridder. I'm talking about the intangible aspects of Desmond Ridder, the intangible things that Joe Montana brought to a game. I think that Desmond Ridder can bring those kinds of things to the football game. So I trust Desmond Ridder. He was my favorite draft pick from last year. I think he's got real potential. I've said on the podcast, earlier over the last couple weeks, I think he could be a 25 touchdown quarterback. I think when you look at the weapons that are around him, he could be 25 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to be a turnover machine like Marcus Mariota was. I don't think he'll run for the same amount of yards that Marcus Mariota did, but certainly he can get out of the pocket and he can use his legs to help you pick up yardage and first downs and help influence a game that way. But I I don't like the comparison necessarily, and I understand that they both played for Arthur Smith, and Tannehill was looked at as a game manager. I think Desmond Ridder can be more than that. I think he can be a quarterback that is certainly a more viable, better option than what Ryan Tannehill was to that club. They had Derrick Henry, and they were obviously a run-heavy team. So I understand why he's making those similar comparisons and profiling and stuff, but still, it's not a compliment to say that you're a poor man's Ryan Tannehill. I think Desmond Ridder is going to show people that he's going to be a much better quarterback than that. Again, is he going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? No. But he's got that intangible that I think is most important in a quarterback. He finds ways to win football games. He's a winner in football games. And that's the intangible that you need first and foremost. That's what separates a lot of the guys from the physical specimens to what have you. We've seen a lot of physical specimens that couldn't win a football game. Desmond Ridder is a winner. I like what we have in Desmond Ridder. All right, as you make Hittin' Hard your first listen every day, make sure you go into whatever podcast platform that you're listening on and let us know that you're an everyday listener. So we thank you so much for being a part of our ever-growing community, but let us know that you're an everydayer. Go in the comments section of wherever you listen, YouTube, what have you. Go in there, let us know you're an everydayer, as we like to call them. You listen in every day, 5 days a week to the show. We thank you so much for being a part of our growing community.